Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today, we are here with the Targon Division Finals. It's going to be Mythic Academy versus New World Esports Delta. This is going to be a revenge match. Right now, we had New World knocking out Mythic in the semifinals, but Mythic was able to win in the losers finals and now found their way back into the winners finals. Now, there's going to be for all the marbles this time, and this is going to be a $250 prize pool. I'm Verdant Cass, and I'm joined by Abba Trombone. Say hi, Abba.
Hello, welcome to Summer's Rift indeed. As we're starting into the draft phase, going to be pretty exciting. A revenge match here. Will Mythic Academy be able to rise up and defeat Delta? We'll have to see here. We'll have to see. Pretty good matchups between both of these teams here. Although I do suspect we're going to see some more bot lane action based on just how a lot of these games have been going in the past here, Verdant.
So, quick question: why are the bottom two bands missing? Are you seeing that as well?
I'm seeing it bugged on my side. Yeah.
Okay,
I
yeah.
don't.
Do you mind just asking the team what bands they have for the first two?
Yeah. What's here? First two bands. Red side.
Also, I'd like to apologize to everyone out there. We are unable to reset the title of the stream, so if you need to ask us at any time. We're going to be getting a Jinx as the priority pick, and for the side of Mythic, they are going to be getting rid of Annie, Wukong, and Varus, and on the side of Delta, we definitely see the Bard for now, but do we know what the other two are?
They just said back ESUB. Oh, they have no bans ESUB. Ah.
Okay, so what they did correctly get rid of the two bands. So we aren't missing anything. So these are all the correct bands and everything as we see them. They have a Zeri pick. I would be surprised if they don't get a Lulu with it instantly or like Emilio. Yumi, all right.
Yumi, some shielding to go with it as well. The friendship stacks coming in together strong. Gonna give them the sustain that they need. Able to push some lanes if they want to, or they can just farm things out. Both Jinx and Zeri really do want to farm. They want to get these items, these power spikes. And of course, the first item, power spike, is a little bit stronger than what Jinx has. So getting those is going to be very important for them as well. I've seen Jinx outperform versus Zeri traditionally with a lot of the matchups I've seen. So I will give her an edge in this bot lane here as they have a Lulu too. Zeri's going to be able to steal those shields, which could change things up a little bit here. No Emilio gaming right now with the new champion coming up fairly recently.
Yeah, and I think that Lulu like having her shields kind of taken away by Zeri, I think will be kind of a nice little boon for Zeri, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to push her over the range difference between the Jinx and Zeri. But we will have to see. But it's going to be the junglers then picked up here. Maokai could be in the top lane, but we have very traditionally in the season 13 seen Maokai predominantly in the jungle, and so it's just going to be Maokai J4 pick. And both of those are really good at either engage with the Twisting Nether or the Cataclysm, or disengage of just being able to help peel some of your teammates off or isolate targets.
Being able to peel for Jinx here, super important. They could be going for a protected. They carry composition with Lulu and Maokai, being able to peel, polymorph, do all sorts of things to help make sure she's good. And of course, give her a little bit more on her auto attacks as well, with the Enchanter being stapled onto there. Zeri, Jarvan, they're people who can try and jump in over walls or set plays up here. So it will make things a little bit more difficult, but that does mean that if Royalty, the player for Jinx, if they get caught out, that could be quite devastating for Mythic Academy.
No, it's a Gangplank ban. You hate to see it. Yeah, you hate it.
Yeah! Put him in his place.
Okay, well, admittedly, I think he has not been really that... still a pretty decent champion, but not as strong since the double nerf to him. He actually took 3 nerfs in a row, so not feeling as good as he once did. But I think it was a very smart ban for the Camille, considering the J4, because if they had J4, she could just kind of, you can Cataclysm the Jinx, then followed up with a Hextech Ultimatum, and Jinx just can't go anywhere. She's just gonna get blown up.
And like movement speed's like your thing. It's why we see Ghost so often as a summoner here rather
Yeah.
than like a heal or an exhaust. Because the Excited plus Ghost, oh my gosh, the resets makes them very potent indeed. But on the flip side here, LeBlanc also kind of wants to go in and pick some of these champions off
Ooh.
here. And Syndra here to respond with a no, you will not touch my carry. Could be a threat of her own and peel things away as well. Really rounds out this composition. I love what Mythic Academy is doing right now. And I'm an advocate of enjoying what Delta's doing as well. Their work is going to be a little bit cut out for them if they're not going to be able to get in. These vision is going to be important. It's very dangerous for a composition like Academies just walk in blindly, so they might have to use some skill shots to feel things around, see where people are, do the sonar strat.
So right now, Sion has been a fairly just steady pick in the top lane. Can take a lot of abuse, can deal back a lot of abuse, depending on how it is played, and has a little bit of flexibility of picks. You can obviously just split in the side lane, as we have seen many players do, or then we can work with the rest of the team and use the unstoppable charge and run some people down. But that's going to be a Fiora counter pick back into the Sion, so he's going to have to watch out on using some of those Qs.
Yeah, even in his undead state, those vitals can be procced, and that's a lot of damage coming out here. Fiora can match some of the split potential of Sion as well, and is able to riposte a lot of his CC. Of course, longer cooldown, but she has some nice trading patterns as well. So I really do like this Fiora pick, using your counter pick quite wisely. Here it can really shape how this game goes. And should Delta's plan of trying to like snuff out someone not go well, they have a good duelist who's going to be able to do stuff in a different lane, or is going to be able to just draw a lot of pressure to change stuff out.
So with all of this in mind, just what are your instant thoughts on these comps? Who do you think has the advantage? Because like right now it seems that Delta really wants to be going for a little bit more of some of these dive options, versus Academy really wants to be playing for this peel and keeping royalty alive.
Well, let's start off in the top lane here. Delta obviously has the advantage here, and Fiora can be a bit of a raid boss, pulling up 2 to 3 people if she gets super big. Big win condition there. LeBlanc, also a really big threat if she ends up getting that lead here and can dodge some of these important skill shots. And they have a third carry, so a triple threat team here. On the flip side, though, they don't have these tanks like Academy does. So if they don't get some of these crucial picks, it's going to be quite difficult for them. That being said, I don't think they necessarily need some of these scaling picks, as they have a way of responding to them. So I'm giving a slight edge to Delta.
Yeah, I could see that. I mean, J4 definitely can set the tone for an earlier sort of, kind of an earlier paced game. If he, obviously that little bit depends on runes, but for the most part, J4 has just been a fairly dominant early game jungler, has a very, very long reach with the drag flag, like the flag drag pull combo. Can really effectively gank the mid lane. Some junglers really, really struggle trying to get some ganks into there, but is able to find that. Maokai, you definitely can gank in the earlier portions of the game, and if you're able to get on top of someone, but you kind of really, really want your twisting advance to just kind of secure this lockdown, versus J4. J4, yes, it's very nice to have the Cataclysm, but it's not like required to have it.
Yeah, not required to have it for sure. And the other thing, like, not only is J4 a pick that gets to set the gameplay pace early on, but they have a lot of options. No matter which lane they choose to affect, it's a winning option because of the number of threats that they chose to have. So they're going to have a big threat more often than not, I would predict.
So, and for the side of Mythic Academy, they are a little bit slower. They will be scaling into this game more.
Mm-hmm.
Do they want to focus objectives in this earlier portion, or do you just strictly want to play for time? I feel like Dragon has. I feel like going for early Dragon has been very much a negative tempo option.
I agree. Like, early drakes, if you take it off spawn, you have to be up like 2,000 gold or something at that point in the game, which is hard to do because the game hasn't been on that long. That being said, it's more important to get your gold spent, the resources accrued, so that you can get a bigger advantage, as you have to commit a lot more resources to an objective early on because no one's just super big and can just solo them necessarily. It's a little bit risky. Everyone has comms here, and you know, people are way more coordinated than they would necessarily be in solo queue. And even in solo queue, taking an early drag doesn't yield big dividends like you might think it would, being an objective.
Yeah, I think this will be definitely very very close for the side of uh, for Delta. I think that if they are able to create this tempo, they can very much win this game. I obviously it always comes down to performance, but for bot lanes, do you think that Zeri will be able to handle a Jinx Lulu?
I think so. I think so. Uh, Yumi's been like pretty decent in competitive play whenever she ends up being strong enough to be picked, and I think that's the case. I've seen her do well in the past, and the heals is going to be enough for Zeri. And I've even seen Zeri push in Jinx before to get the priority that they might want, like if you have a J4, for example.
All right. Well, as we wait for the spectator delay to kind of trickle on down, we are going to be back with the excitement on the Rift. Don't go anywhere. Grab some popcorn, and we'll see you here in a few minutes, and we will get back to you with the action.
scoreboard.
Hello, everyone. We are getting right into it for this game one. We are going to be having Mythic on the blue side and NwE Delta on the red side.
Yes,
Right now,
5-point. Yeah.
yeah.
Ooh, or a skirmish. Trying to find these early junglers, pretty standard procedure. Fighting over vision, trying to see where they're going to be, what lane's going to be safe, what lane might get ganked, stop any invades, and the zombie ward already coming out.
So an interesting thing to be looking at. We're going to be having Hazim and Roger going at it. Going to be fighting a little bit and being a little bit frisky. But in the mid lane, we're going to be having Jack with Summon Airy instead of a First Strike. I'm not too surprised to be seeing that option. I mean, Nuffies is going to be able to kind of poke back and get rid of the First Strike proc. In the top lane, we're going to be having Fiora with Grasp. Both her and Roger have Grasp and Ghost and TP. So there's going to be a little bit of a wet noodle match here in the top lane, but I think Hazim is going to take the edge, obviously having the counter pick.
Yeah, the percent health damage there also being pretty important. Thing to note, I did mention that Jinx will sometimes take a ghost. This is not the case. They ended up taking heal for that option for the trading here. But Daydream did go for ghost here as a lot of mobility. And then, of course, Yuumi double combat summoners here to really help fight things out. Should a skirmish occur in the bot lane?
Right now, Griffin's just going to be getting it back at some of this mana with some of these autos, getting a little bit of extra poke out, but Nuffy's going to be having the slight advantage. Jack is going to be shoving him back. But these junglers are going to be starting on opposite sides.
That is true. Here is true. Trying to fight over for Hazim on NwE's side here makes a lot of sense in my book. And then playing for your bot lane also makes a lot of sense. Unfortunately, Royalty has shoved things in a little bit. Maybe they're trying to go for a cheater recall here. I don't think they were able to crash the wave quite as big. They crashed wave 2 instead of wave 3 for the can wave. So not going to be quite the push that they want for a clean reset for an early item advantage. But gold is gold. Gold is gold. Getting a bounce back.
Right now, Lonely is just going to be crossing over immediately, just takes the top quadrant and then use the flag drag and is coming down in this bot lane try. We could be seeing some trouble here for Zarkany and Royalty. He's coming in behind. He's going for this gank. They are going to be going after Zarkany. He's under the tower, is exhausted, quite low, and he will be dying to Daydream.
Yeah, 3v2 just getting caught out there. The flash coming through, and the heal, of course, coming out of Royalty, but it did come at some cost. Oh no, Nuffy's, and then is Roger dying here?
Oh no.
Everyone in the lanes are dying here. Oh no, this isn't what you want to be seeing. I was talking about a triple threat here, Verdant. The 1v1 on the top side, Nuffy's getting the 1v1 on the mid side, and then of course, the bot side, they had to use a lot of summoners here. A lot of flashes and ghosts are down on the red side of the map here. And then the support down double the combat summoners here, which really helped secure that fight. But MTC still has some of their summoners open for some of these potential fights up here. Though Roger did have to use their teleport in order to not lose too much farm. Otherwise, it's going to be quite difficult for them to get into this game.
Yeah, right now, Roger's just going to be having a continuously difficult time. Use the Q there, got instantly reposted back into his face, but now has Hazim quite low. Hazim still has TP, so could be taking a fair bit of abuse, get the back off, get TP back up, but it seems that Roger's going to be stopping this back. That's going to be stunning him under the tower, but now you have an Obi-Wan Shinobi here to help, but that's going to be Roger going down again. Will Hazim be able to play it out? He will not be able to. But Obi-Wan is going to be quite low in response. But Roger's just going to sacrifice himself on the top side, going to be using his Giant Corpse to take a lot of this extra farm.
Getting the extra farm there is super important for sure, but that could not have happened without Obi-Wan Shinobi, their only hope to get back into this game here. Very well played. Pretty close, but horseshoes and hand grenades. Them getting that kill, pretty good here.
Royalty's in potential trouble here. Right now, Lonely's going to be looking for the grab. That's going to be dodged. Royalty getting quite low, having to now finally commit the flash. Going to be throwing in back some of this damage, getting them down to half HP, but you do have Griffin just being able to further just heal them up. So they're just going to be walking away from this play. Yeah, right now we have all of the summoners down from the side of Mythic versus on the side of and Delta, they still have Ghost and Flash on Daydream.
Yeah, fighting over these lane priorities here. Looks like the stream's starting to smooth out a little bit too, which is good to see. A little bit of lag. I'll try and think of what's going on. But in the meantime, on the Rift here, 1,000 gold advantage, pretty important for these sides. A lot of farm, a lot of kills here as well. Not everyone has a farm lead, but that could change with some of these ganks coming in and out from NwE.
So Ryan, right now looking at it, they could play for a potential drag, but they want to go for probably yet another lane gank onto Royalty and Zarkni. They do have an opening here. They are quite low. They have no sums.
That's very true indeed, but the junglers were matching. Nothing ended up happening here. With the wave being pushed, it was a little bit difficult for that to go through. Not wanting to commit to a tower dive. Polymorph does de-incentivize that, so Royalty staying alive, pretty good. We'll see some more action here happening throughout the map. Just trying to get some lane priority into the top side, it looks like, which is going to help MTC get some farm there, as they'll be able to farm a little bit more safely here, as some of these vitals will be going to the opposite side. The north one is going to be changing into the south one here. Very, very important, as that's going to be harder to proc here. It will time out. Mid lane here, the priority also important, as NwE is an AP assassin. Just being able to roam to some of these side lanes if someone overextends or setting up a dive is something that's going to be able to do. Get in and out. We all know what LeBlanc can do when she gets ahead. So we'll have to see if NwE is going to be able to play that out and get some stacks onto this Dark Seal here that they've already built. Very confident into this game here. Looking pretty close into this lane. They're not going to be able to quite get it, it looks like. And it looks like the return kill from Jack not quite coming in here as well. Oh, everyone's low. They're going to be needing some backs. Trying to catch these waves. The wave management, like I've been saying, been very, very important.
All right. I hope that will help change. It kind of changed some of that stream. I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. The computer is on a separate server, so I am unable to directly interact with it. But for the time being, we are getting obviously a lot of trading back and forth in a lot of these side lanes. We're going to be going for the first dragon of the game. There's going to be a Chemtech going over potentially for the side of Mythic, but we don't have many players on the side of Delta being able to collapse on this, so I think this is going to very freely go over to them.
I think so as well. I think so as well. Being able to catch this dragon, very important. The extra shielding and healing is going to benefit everyone here, right? Top lane has shielding, jungle has healing, bot has their heal, I suppose.
Ooh, yeah, Roger's just going to be in thorough trouble. Has no flash, has no option, has already used shield. He's just going to go down for free in this top side. Going with the Ghost and TP in the top lane is really just going to force a scenario where if ever ganked, Roger's just going to be in continuous trouble. I think that Bramble was a very good pickup.
Oh, it's good, but it didn't look like it did anything. Oh wow. Death Rocket!
Super Mega Death Rocket got him quite low, but unable to get the kill onto Royalty. Royalty now getting the kill onto Griffin. So now we're getting a little bit of lifeblood back into their team, but Obi-Wan Shinobi having 2 kills out of the 3 kills for the side of Mythic.
Yeah, walking that close to the wall means there's only one way for them to go if their E is down. So they weren't able to flash things, move things out, and that secured the kill. And of course, just take a couple of turret shots to take out the itty-bitty Enchantress that is Yuumi. So Griffin is going to be meeting them in the fountain as their best friend would. As Yogi Berra said, show up to your friends' funerals or they won't show up to yours.
I did not know that quote. Thank you very much for sharing that historic quote from the baseball player Yogi Berra. Thank you. The more you know, everybody. So now Jack has been kind of Jack has been going back and forth, obviously, with Nuffy's in the early game, but Nuffy's having this electrocute has been very much a boon for him and has been continuously just kind of beating on Jack in this lane throughout this game so far. So Jack gonna be now having to expend TP is farm behind. So Jack picked Syndra into Nuffy's. So I don't know. I'm ooh, Well,
Well,
scratch that. We're going to be seeing a potential fight here. Right now, we have Zarkany and Royalty going in after Daydream, but Lonely going to be coming in from the sidelines here. We're going to be seeing another
ooh,
lane gank. That's going to be Royalty flashing out. That's going to be ultimate used by Griffin. And that's going to be
yeah.
walking away from that play, but at the cost of Royalty's flash.
No Cataclysm coming in here. Well, but Wild Growth's protecting there, the big slow. Very, very important. That does
Ooh.
mean they know where the jungler is. More fights happening here. Both junglers sitting here, Verdant. A fight could happen. Things are just sitting at the edge of a knife.
Right. Oh, that's going to be Twisting Advance used, but Daydream on is going to be dashing away from that. But now Lonely trying to get some potential grabs. Are we going to be seeing the Cataclysm yet? Zarkany getting quite low. That's going to be flash used to get out of that Cataclysm, and Lonely is going to be dying in response. Now we have an excited Royalty. Royalty is going to be starting throwing some damage, but Daydream going to be using the cat. It hasn't used the Cataclysm Surge yet, but is going to be playing away from it now. Now it's up. They're just going to be using it to run away. And that play is going to be going over to the side of Mythic, winning this bot lane
It's not going to
skirmish.
be over yet. Oh, Daydream finally does walk away, trying to get the XP. Unable to get it there. The 3v3 being a little bit stronger here. We saw a nice lead coming out of NwE here, but it's being returned. A snapback response coming out of NTC here. Very good. We're seeing their carry get ahead, and their front line is also getting some kills to try and make sure that they stay healthy. Something we like. Oh, the mid lane.
There you go. That's a kill. That's a kill.
Oh!
I was gonna say the second basically Roger and Jack is on the same wavelength of what they need to do. They needed to just clear the wave as fast as they can under the turret when their opposing laner is under the turret themselves, and so they're taking extra tower shots. Hazim has taken a bunch, and so was Nuffy's. Nuffy's is going to be dying in response to this, and now we are back to a 5-5 scoreline. It was looking quite dire for the side of Mythic at the start of this, but now they're really starting to bring it back, and this gold lead is slightly favored to them.
Yeah, while we're talking about gold, I think it's going to be really important to emphasize who the gold's on, because that's going to really change things up. So in the top lane, we're seeing a nice 1.4k gold lead favoring the red side here on Delta. But on the flip side, jungle, a nice healthy 500 gold lead coming out of Obi-Wan Shinobi. So good for them. Mid is dead even. But most importantly, Royalty has a 1.3k gold lead here as well. So it's going to be basically a Royalty versus Hazim, who can get the most pressure and most value out of this gold right now. Super important. Hazim being the fighter that they are, 2-item power spike comes sooner, going to be a little bit more powerful, but that third item as an AD carry is going to be very, very potent when Royalty gets that. So they're going to need some stuff now on the side of Delta to really push their lead.
First turret going to be taken by Royalty before the Herald is going to be able to help try to take the tower on the top side. Now they're going to be rotating this over to a Dragon. They know that Hazim and Lonely are on the top side, so they freely get the first tower. They get the Dragon in response, despite losing the tower on the top side. So they're really, really playing through this bot lane quite effectively. And Royalty now has their Mythic along with Daydream. But you do have upgraded boots onto Royalty. But
very true.
And now they have a best friend sword as well.
A best friend sword as well. You think that it would be on the other side with the Yuumi pick, best friends, but nope, it's going to be on the other side. Identity theft coming here out of the Mythic side here. So
it's not a joke, Jim. It's not a joke.
It's not identity theft is not a joke, Jim.
Yes.
We're going to be rotating here, being the early game's done. We've crossed the 14-minute mark, and first tower is fallen. Both conditions for the early game ending here. And the AD carry is sitting here, just trying to stay safe into the mid lane here. And of course, split pushers being in the side lane, and then anyone who can just be safe in these longer lanes here, being mid lane shifting in this case. Just try and stay safe, get these waves pushed like we've been seeing, like you were talking about in the mid lane earlier with Nuffin and Jack.
So an important thing to note is that the Dragon Soul that is going to be coming up this game is going to be Ocean Soul. Ooh, they're going to be going all in on Obi-Wan Shinobi. That's going to be Cataclysm used. That's going to be Flash Out from Obi-Wan. Twisting Advance going to be further discouraging this play, but Royalty is going to be getting Daydream down to half health. So it's going to be ultimate for ultimate coming out of these junglers, but a Flash having to be used by Obi-Wan, so... But with Ocean Soul coming up, I think that could be fairly advantageous, obviously, for both sides, but I think it's going to be a little bit more helpful for the side of Delta. You have Fiora. If Fiora is just able to continuously win in the side lanes, if you can kind of just split a team up constantly, that is a very harsh win condition.
Yeah, a very harsh win condition indeed. The Death Rocket not being able to steal the second Rift Herald here. Dragons versus Rift Heralds versus turrets. Very good. And Mythic getting their first turret in the mid lane, the shortest lane. Able to push things out, get some rotations through their very important turret in competitive League of Legends. And just in general is a good one to have. But the bot side also being down here as well. So 2-1 in the turret game. 2-1. Very good. Objective advantage on the side of MTC here. Mythic.
So we're effectively seeing two dragons versus two heralds. So we haven't seen the second herald dropped yet. So I think it could be a little bit early to call some of these objectives. But without the assistance of Herald, they have side of Mythic has been able to take 2 towers. So man, Royalty doing God's work of just ripping down these towers.
Yeah, just ripping down these towers. One day they shall fall. Oh, pushing.
Okay, let's maybe not. let's move off that point. That could go awry quickly. But Roger now going to be rotating over to the mid lane. We're going to be throwing Royalty up top. Going to be and having him go for the third tower. There we go. Going to be finding that NwE's trying to throw him off of that, but not going to be supplying enough damage. But Roger versus Daydream. This is a 3-level difference. So Roger might be just able to just take this abuse all day from Daydream.
Yeah, 3 levels, pretty significant, especially once you get to that level 11, because that's another ability into your ultimate here. Super duper. But what the heck is going on?
I have no idea of what is going on.
Because that would be a cursor. Okay. Ooh. Back over to Summer's Rift here, trying to push things into the mid and bot lane here. A dive Verdant. Oh my gosh, the Cataclysm, the Flash. Turret shot's not being enough. The grand fight coming here. Are they going to be able to get on Jack? The teleport. It looks like that's going to be happening. The heals. Is Roger going to be able to do it? They're pinched here. Ooh, the ultimate. The riposte not quite landing. The vitals being procced. So much health being gained by Hazim here. Still going in for these. So much damage. Oh my gosh. But the mid tower falling here as well. A lot of towers have been falling here for Mythic. Very, very good news for them. Even though that we saw Delta take the first tower, they haven't been able to get anything else after that. They still have Rift Herald though, I believe. Oh my god, more fights happening here. Obi-Wan Shinobi getting caught out here. NwE's going in for the root, securing it there. Well, the wet noodle fight happens still in the bot lane, getting low on HP and mana from both carries here as well.
All right, so now you're going to be talking to kind of people behind the scenes. Right now, the internet that the computer is hosted on that basically kind of runs the bot is like the internet is completely kind of taking a dive there. So I don't know what's going on there, and I don't know why the camera is going every which direction.
I think that was a user input. Okay. Fighting over Dragon 3 here. The Death Rocket not quite doing it. Red side finally getting a dragon. Stopping Soul Point happening on the side of Mythic. Very important for them, the extra mana and HP regeneration here. They did have to commit some resources here, but everyone's here for the mid push. Meanwhile, Hazim pushing towards the bot side and being responded to by Jack here. We'll have to see if they're able to push things out. They've got pretty decent wave clear, but will it be enough? I don't know. There's a Ravenous Hydra here and a nice wave.
So now with the Ocean Soul and Ocean Drag going over to the side of Delta, I think they could. I think they obviously are going to be able to get a little bit more healing for the sphere on the sideline, but oh my gosh, Sarkany's just going to get absolutely blown up by Nuffy's there, and that's going to be Cataclysm used on Royalty. That's going to be a flash over the Raptors wall, but here comes the Unstoppable Charge. Going to go for the knockup onto Lonely. Lonely going to be going down to half health, but Roger getting quite low himself. That's going to be Chaotic Surge used. That's going to be Daydream kind of run in from the sideline, but Hazim is here coming in behind everyone. He's going to be picking up the kill on Royalty. That's going to be, Nuffy's getting that shutdown. Right now, Obi-Wan trying to do the best he can. Hazim, he's going to be going down to Hazim. It is all up to Roger. He is just going to get blown up, unable to do anything from here. Jack's going to be coming in from the sideline, pushing Hazim away, but Hazim is not going to be going after him. But that's going to be three people dying on this. Well, effectively four with Zark at the beginning, but that's going to be four people dying on the side of Mythic.
4 people dying there, getting caught out. A lot of CC landing up. And of course, just the percent max health damage here coming out of Hazim here. Super, super duper important. And this is rotating into an early Baron, typically at 20 minutes if you don't have a big lead. Like, only 2,000 isn't that big. At this point, it's a bit risky, but with so many people being dead and you have some of the damage here, you're able to secure it. Super Mega Death Rocket, not going to be capturing it. They've been trying for it. It's got to happen eventually. A lot of large numbers eventually will come into play.
Yeah, right now it is a 4K gold difference. This is starting to look a little bit more and more dire for the side of Mythic. Royalty obviously starting out with that 2-0 is now at a 2-1. Isn't obviously out of the game yet, but you had a 5-5 stat line going into this, and you were able to kind of bring it back into the game, but now it is 5-11. So that last team fight really was killer for Delta. They did a great job in that, able to just find the priority and forcing out some of these flashes on the Royalty early, and then able to get the nice flank with Hazim. Sorry.
Hazim.
Sorry, okay. Hakeem Olajuwon is probably one of my favorite basketball players of all time. So apologies on that. Slip of the tongue.
I would maybe forgive you if it was Dunkmaster Darius then, right? Because the basketball, but
Touché.
Not this case. And they're not even French too, so you can't even go with a baguette angle here from the French fencer, Fiora.
Fair enough. Wait, so Damasio's France?
Not just her.
Okay. All right. I will have to just think about how that even works. But anyway, Nuffy's and Roger's going to be going at it in this bot lane. He does not have he doesn't have much MR. The only MR he has on him is the Aegis of Legion, and he's just going to get continuously poked out here in the bot lane, having to now back.
Yeah, the real magic resist is the one we found along the way. They did end up taking the Bramble right for the early heal cut. And if you're wondering, the Sunfire Aegis is there to help him push waves. It's something we've been seeing coming out of tanks a lot. And he stacks HP quite well, so he's going to get all the utility out of that, and is going to be rotating into their Mythic here. Committing to Thornmail, you don't get the stats that you want, so he'll probably be sitting in that for a while now. So right Back now, at it. The towers, right? We're catching up into towers here from NwE here, from the Delta. So this is good news for them, Verdant.
And so I'm not surprised. Ooh, that's going to be Nuffy's going down to the Super Mega Death Rocket. That's going to be a good find by Royalty. Going to be giving him a little bit of gold, and going to be stopping kind of a further bot push. And now we have Dragon coming up. We still have Nuffy's down for a while, has no TP. So we could see a possible man difference for this drag fight. But Hazim is just going to be ruthlessly kind of pushing down this top tower. Yeah, this inhib tower is going down. You can't stop it, Jack, whatsoever. That's going to be ultimate used by Jack, but the ultimate coming through from Hazim. That's the flash away. Won't be able to find anything further, but Hazim is just brutal with the amount of damage he has going. 5-1-2 stat line with the 650 gold shutdown. Has TP, could be helping this fight.
Well, so does Jack, too. They want to get back to their fountain, heal up, and teleport in.
That's going to be Unstoppable Charge. Use the Twisting Advance coming through. Going to be both of these big ultimates missing. And now we have Daydream and Hazim coming in on the sideline. Will Roger be able to stop that? That's going to be stolen by
Ooh.
Lonely, coming over the wall and taking that dragon. And now this is just going to be kind of a nightmare scenario. That's going to be Royalty going down. Roger's already taken down as well, using kind of his death throws to try to get out a little bit of extra damage. Zarkany trying to run away the best he can, but he has a Yuumi stapled to him. He's going to catch up to you, and now Obi-Wan Shinobi is going to be the only one getting out of this play alive. That's going to be a rampage for Hazim.
Yeah, a rampage here. I was kind of hyping up Hazim, right, with the Fiora pick, and it looks like it's been paying dividends for them, as they also have a hull breaker right now. Now, they might not be able to get too much value out of it, as the waves have been pushed in so far. Once you start getting into the enemy nexus, you're going to be too close to get some benefit out of it. But the side pushes, splitting open the ends here, forcing out these fights in the middle. Oh my goodness. No one dying here. Getting close there. Lonely me sitting here, having to probably recall out of this. Oh my gosh.
Yeah,
just
because of how dominant Azim's early game was, I think this might be a little bit too much for the Master Duelist to really be taken down here. We'll be throwing in a lot of this damage. That's going to be 1,000 gold shutdown going over to Royalty. This could give him a bit of lifeblood back into it. That's the last person you want to give a shutdown to. So,
yeah, 1,000 gold is a lot. Of course, there is still another 7,000 that they have to make up, but that's a good place to start, especially on your carry, your super mega carry. Ooh, and NwE's might get caught out here too if they're not able to dodge the zappers. All right.
So being obviously down 7k gold, how do they come back into this on the side of Mythic? They have been giving some of these shutdowns over to Royalty. He will have 3 completed items, and you don't even have 3 completed items onto Daydream. Do you think that Royalty will be enough? It has enough of a bot lead to win this game, or do they need some more AoE damage on him?
Split pushes haven't been enough. Team fights haven't been enough, as we're probably going to see right here.
It's going to be Twisted Advance, unable to catch Lonely or Daydream. Going to be just jumping over some of these walls. Oh,
Baron is up a thing to contest. Major teleports being down. It's why we're seeing NwE's split push rather than Hazim onto the bot side. Of course, top side is where Baron is, so that's why Hazim's going to be pushing there. They're going to have to find a response there, as the Nexus is a little bit open. There's some inhibs and 2 turrets protected, but she's going to be eating through those quite fast on her own. A lot of auto resets, and you could just chew through those towers.
So, right now we have kind of the... I think the best thing you can maybe go for is when they're going for a dragon, you just have to shove a lane. Just try to go for... trying to penetrate as far onto the enemy side as you can. Take out as many towers. Try to get some of this objective bounties, but I don't know if you can ever fight them on objectives.
They're trying to do that right now with the numbers advantage. NwE's pushing the bot side.
Oh, that's going to be a massive knockup. That's going to be a drag flag. And they might catch out Lonely here. He's getting quite low. Are they going to be getting the pickup? That's going to be Obi-Wan getting that kill. They have the shutdown, but NwE's going to be still shoving in the spot side. Twisty Advance coming through. Going to be forcing them off this Baron, but Roger holding down the front line. You have Jack now to go back and help. Hazim is going to be using the riposte onto Roger. This is just oh no, this is just going very poorly for them right now. Daydream is still just ripping through their team, is on a rampage, getting a double kill, is now on a triple kill. He isn't going to get the quadra. That's going to be going over to Hazim, but I think this is your dagger.
I think the dagger has already been there, as they haven't been able to match these split pushes, and they weren't able to utilize a numbers advantage in some of these team fights, like I was hinting before it was happening. So that means they're going to have to find an answer in that game too. I think not allowing this Camille or Fiora style gameplay is going to be forcing some bans here on the side of Mythic. On the flip side, though, bot lane, they were doing quite well in the laning phase here. It didn't change until recently where all these kills were coming.
All right. So from game one to game two, what bans do you think need to come forth here? What do you need to change up? What do you need to get rid of?
Well, if you're on the losing side, you do get the counter pick, right? So they
Yes.
could try and do for a counter pick on the top side, try and get Roger, who's been doing quite well for the most part, into the top side. Not a very comfortable matchup for them, and they were still able to get some nice
Oh,
value out of it here. Gotta mention, third dragon, NwE, taken. They're on soul point, not that they necessarily need it.
are they going to be able to pick up Hazim? He was hit by the zap. He was slowed, but going to be continuously dashing away. Nuffy's there to help his teammate. Fishbone's throwing in a little bit of this extra damage, but they are a little bit faster. You do have Lonely on the backside coming in, but they could just rush for this inhib. And Hazim going to be throwing out a lot of damage. Is now polymorphed by Zarkady, but they are unable to kill him quite yet. Hazim is going to be picking
Oh
up
my
that tower,
gosh.
that base.
My gosh. Not even close, baby. Holy moly. Yeah, the split push coming into fruition. Game one taken by Delta here. We'll have to see how things are going to change into game two here on the side of Mythic. If they're going to go for a side swap or if their priority pick that they ended up going for is going to be enough to try and push them in to get on the scoreboard here to try and make it 1-1 into game two. Right now, game two hasn't happened yet, so it's a best of 5. It's going to be longer. People are going to make mistakes. People are going to slip up. It's still anyone's game right now.
All right, we are going to be back. I will try to do as much as I can on the production side of things. There is a lightning storm going around the server, so that's why the internet is just on the fritz. So at least I'm finding out more information about this, but I can't do anything about it being in the Midwest and the servers in California. So apologies to everybody. Thank you very much for sticking with us so far. We'll see you back very shortly for the draft for game 2. Hello, everybody. We are going to be getting into this draft for game 2. We have Delta winning game 1, and we're going to be swapping sides. We're going to have Delta on the blue side and Mythic Academy on the red side.
Yeah, very good side swap from them. I think it's a wise choice here. Priority pick, of course, going over to Delta. I think they're going to be able to utilize it quite well. But the counter pick from Academy, I think, is needed. They're going to need to win a little bit harder in one of these lanes in their carry lane than they did previously to match a triple threat lineup that we were seeing out of Delta here. Of course, Delta might be changing this here with being on the blue side versus the red side. Getting the priority pick here is a strength of blue side. So we'll have to see how Delta is going to utilize some of these earlier picks here, or if they're going to be banning out some more keen champions here that we were also seeing here. So maybe a Jinx ban, trying to prevent that hyper carry, or they felt like it was dealt with just enough.
So an important thing to note is that NwE Delta only had 3 bans and was still able to kind of overcome that
Yeah.
that deficit and still won that game. So
now they have 5.
As I say, now they have 5, so I think that's going to be even scarier for the side of Mythic, but they are still going to be staying with the tried and true Bard ban.
Bard is really good when he's really good. And if you have a good Bard player, holy cow, the ultimates are fantastic. Stopping stuff. You could stop like a Shelly crash, the roaming potential, so much value out of him. I can't blame someone for competitive League of Legends saying, no Bard, not touchy. Of course, Jarvan being banned here. We did see that come out here. So a pretty good ban here as they were able to get some value out of it on their side. But now that sides have swapped, getting that banned, not allowing it, just like a Wukong, also super strong early in these games, Verdant. So it's trying to make sure junglers aren't too powerful on the enemy side. Something wise from both sides.
Yeah, right now, just a lot of these AD engaged junglers I felt have been very good this patch, especially with J4 with Wukong. They're going to be getting rid of the Jinx, but I think you could also throw Vi into that mixture as well. Of those champions have been just very consistent, being able to just knock about your backline, and I'm not surprised to be seeing either of those bans.
Yeah, all these bans I think make a lot of sense. Annie's been pretty important. Wukong pretty important. Jinx we saw go very well. Jarvan as well here, and Xayah I think is a pretty good pick here. They had a lot of engage with, like we saw Maokai, we've seen Jarvan just kind of like pushing forward and trying to get stuff forward, and Xayah is a good answer for that. Also scales pretty well and rounds teams out just a little bit, but is still very focused on what they want to be doing here. We'll have to see if there's a lovers duo in the bot side, if Rakan's going to get picked up for some extra charm to the lane.
Yeah, I'm kind of I think that Ezreal is gonna just continue to bring that kind of that ranged botline. You went obviously from Jinx, that which you banned, but now you're gonna be going over to Ezreal. So you guys are gonna be playing back from a further distance. So Royalty is gonna be reprising a longer distance ADC, but then they're gonna be choosing a NwE instead of the Maokai here. I think that is maybe a very good adaptation. Maokai, was very, very good in the earlier portions of season 13. Isn't as strong as he used to be, just because he kind of and continuously got hit by some nerfs. And a lot of the twisting advances coming out of Obi-Wan Shinobi did not really connect in a meaningful manner. Some did obviously hit, but I think that NwE is a good adaptation of having an AP style jungler that can provide a lot of engage.
Yeah, and gets a lot of the roaming potential. I think one thing to note about Obi-Wan Shinobi's pick in that last game is, of course, they didn't get a lot of value out of it as they were already behind gold. But on the flip side, you did pick it and you were behind as the jungler and you really get to set the pacing of the game. So that's something to evaluate throughout it. So I like this adaptation. I don't think we can pin it entirely onto them. Part of it.
Oh yeah, no.
But
Yeah,
NwE gonna have a similar-ish play style here, able to move around, get some objectives. We saw early objectives being an important thing here. Hard to outsmite a NwE, so very, very wise here. And we'll have to see if the age-old question is being asked, why am I being slowed around this bush?
Dude, this new patch, the new April Fool's patch. These bushes now actually provide a 80% slow for some reason.
Yeah.
But we're going to be having a Kane and Milio pickup from the side of Delta, and then a Karma last pick for the first round of picks. And I think that Karma is going to be very nice to add in some of this poke and sustain for Ezreal in this bot lane. So it's going to be a very, very safe bot lane. And going to be allowing NwE to maybe possibly focus on other portions of the map. It could be focusing on your counter pick top, depending on what Roger, if Roger's picked in the fourth position or the fifth position here. But we're going to be getting rid of the Camille and the Olaf yet again from what we saw last time.
Both champions very good in the hands of these players here, so makes a lot of sense. I'm gonna guess Mythic Academy is gonna ban a potential Fiora here. They might not, on the chance that they have counter pick. That might not be quite enough for what they're doing. If they're already banning Camille, pretty similar play style here, sitting things out. On the flip side here, both junglers and AD carries and bot sides have been banned out here, so or picked out, I should say. So mid and top side, very, very important here. We'll have to see which side they feel is more valuable to get the counter pick to.
Still getting rid of the gangplank. Still getting rid of the gangplank. So sad.
Sit, boy.
Hey. Still
Great.
sad to see it.
I'm elated.
You're a big meanie head. That's all I'm gonna say for now on air. But later on, I'm gonna be giving you a strong talking to. But they're gonna be picking a Cassio on the side of Mythic. I've personally always enjoyed Cassio as a champion, so I'm still a little bit spoiled. And NwE is gonna be the return option against Cassio immediately. So both teams are going to be having a bit of a hard time getting into each other's backline, and NwE is going to be having a very difficult time trying to get some of these biggest snowballs ever, considering that, hey, we have a frozen wall that you get to run into, child, and that the wall eats the snowball. So NwE going to be kind of neutered here in this match with the Anivia pickup.
For sure. And Cassante, we're seeing some of these newer champions here. Hopefully this turns out well for Delta. I think Cassante has some pretty decent matchups. You know, they're not as volatile as some of these other matchups where it's very like feast or famine. But on the other side here, Mythic Academy, what response, what champion do they play here that really beats out a Cassante? We'll have to see what the answer is. And it looks like a Nasus.
The dog. The dog. Let's go. We got some scaling. We got some scaling on the side of Mythic here.
Big boy scaling. Triple threat.
Yeah. I mean, and all of all these laners across the board, they are very much threats in their own right. I mean, I like Cassante absolutely is quite scary. Being kind of a tank bruiser hybrid, going with the all-out option, could be giving Nasus a run for his money, considering that a lot of the damage coming out from Cassante is just from ability based, so it's not going to be slowed down with Wither. You have Anivia in the mid lane who can just kind of permanently clear and just kind of hold out waves near indefinitely, obviously outside of a dive, but Xayah is still scary in her own right.
Yeah, I really like Mythic's bot lane here. Xayah's laning phase isn't the strongest, and Karma Mantra plus Ezreal poke, super potent here. So hopefully they chunk out Daydream here, get a game onto the board for them. On the flip side, I have to mention, I know you talked about the snowball wall, but Cassante interacts with terrain as well.
Yeah. I don't foresee.
If you go the long way, on the long way, you could break stuff up as well. You never know.
I don't foresee that to be like a primary combo of
not-
like
yeah, yeah.
specifically NwE with Cassandre.
It's
But-
on the table. It's on the table. You gotta
Yeah,
play
yeah.
5.
I
against these
can't
people.
diminish that fact. It is on the table, but I'm gonna doubt it. If it happens, that'll blow my mind. You're right. I'm wrong. I'll wholeheartedly admit it, but
Another
I'm
day of casting